Hi, this is Karen Gaines, your nonprofit finance guide, and today we are going to talk about preparing for a financial statement audit. So for many nonprofits and businesses really, December marks the end of the fiscal year, and that means the yearly financial statement audit is right around the corner, and so you need to prepare for that financial statement audit. For others, this might be your first audit. You may need an audit, a financial statement audit, to fulfill some type of obligation, or you might need a financial statement audit in order to receive a grant or even apply for grants, whatever the case may be. And you just might be a little apprehensive about the whole audit process. You don't know what to expect, and you're just looking for some guidance and some how-to as far as preparing for a financial statement audit. So I'm just going to go over and provide some suggestions on how you can prepare for a financial statement audit in order to receive an unqualified opinion, which is a clean audit report that you can use for the third party donors, funders, grantors, anybody. You definitely want a clean opinion, a clean audit report, so you can freely distribute your financial statements. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is obtain an auditor. And I know that sounds like common sense, but actually getting an auditor, if you don't have one already, it can be challenging. Okay, there is an accounting shortage out there, which means for some organizations, some businesses, they've been having trouble finding an auditor. So if you don't have an auditor already, you're going to want to take out some time to call auditors, to call accounting firms to see who provides that service, and get some pricing, and schedule your financial statement audit. Again, take out some time, schedule some time to do this, because it might take a little bit longer than what you're expecting. Okay. Next, if you already have an auditor in place, connect with that auditor early. Okay, talk with the auditor about the scope of the financial statement audit and what to expect. And all of this really is reviewing the engagement letter. Okay, so the engagement letter is essentially a list spelling out the expectations of the auditor and the client. It lists, any deadlines that are in place, the scope of the audit, the objective of the audit, the documentation the auditor might need, anything the auditor might need access to. It just essentially spells out the expectations for both the auditor and the client, so that when the auditor comes out to do the audit, there are no surprises. There's no, why are you, testing in this area? You're not really supposed to be doing that. That's not what the engagement letter says. Things like that. It just kind of sets expectations for both parties. All right. So next item, performing preliminary work. So if you're watching this and it's December, this step might be a little bit too late. But you can save it for next year. Okay. Performing preliminary work just means requesting and asking the auditor to come out a few months before your fiscal year end. So if your fiscal year end is December 31st, the auditor may come out in September to do some testing, to do some preliminary work, so that when the year end comes, or when January, February comes, the auditor will not have that much to do, and they can issue out an audit report fairly quickly. Okay, so again, just talk with your auditor, see if they can do any preliminary work, any preliminary testing, so that when your fiscal year is over, that whole audit process will be much quicker. Okay. Next item to prepare for a financial statement audit is for you yourself to review the financial statements for accuracy, or have your accountant do it. Okay. So before giving your financial statements to an auditor, make sure the financials are correct. All right. So what this means is reviewing both your balance sheet and your profit and loss statement. When it comes to your balance sheet, go through your balance sheet and make sure all of the amounts are tying out to something. Okay. So this means, with your cash account should tie to, your cash account should tie to reconciliation reports, bank statements. Your fixed assets should tie to some type of fixed asset and depreciation schedule. Your accounts payable balance should tie to some type of accounts payable aging report. You just want to make sure that all of the amounts that are listed on your balance sheet tie back to something reliable. All right. And really, this should be done well before an auditor comes. It should be done on a monthly basis, but you especially want to make sure it's done before the auditor arrives at your office. All right. Next item, you want to make sure your restricted and unrestricted accounts are separate. All right. So these accounts lie in the net asset section of the balance sheet. So if you have restricted funding, which is funding that is given to nonprofits, is given to you with a purpose, a specific purpose in mind, it has restrictions on it, that should be categorized correctly. So that should be in restricted funding. Okay. And what this means is, if you have restricted funding, you will want to make sure you substantiate that. Make sure you have, a list of donors and funders who have donated or given money to you with restrictions. You want to have the schedule, or the spreadsheet should contain the donors. It should contain the amounts that they contributed and the purpose, just everything that's needed, so that the auditor can review that schedule, the spreadsheet, paperwork, or whatever, and say, okay, this is in fact restricted funding, and I understand what's going on here. All right. So I think I'm going to stop right here, because I've gone over quite a bit of information just already. And so tomorrow I'm going to talk about further on, how to prepare for a financial statement audit. So just, go through this video, make sure you understand what I've talked about so far. And tomorrow I should be able to finish this video on preparing for a financial statement audit. So hopefully this video has been helpful for you. Let me know what you all think. If you're watching via YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.